Hello students, welcome to our class. Today we are going to discuss about the cell, that is the basic unit of life. We will see in the next slide that why we call the cell as a basic unit of life. So cell is a basic unit of life. So why there is a meaning that cell is the basic unit of life and all, what the mean of this now? So it is also called as the fundamental unit of life. Means without cell your life is nothing. As we know that whenever the baby born, so it is previously zygote. When the sperm cell and egg cell meet, it forms diploid zygote, and from that zygote our life starts as a adult one, right? So that means zygote to embryo, embryo to organization, and organization means organism. So that is the basic unit of life, that is cell. So without our cell our life is zero. Whatever we eat, whatever we consume, the all nutrient goes into the cell, and cell perform the different functions for our body. So that's why cell is called as the basic unit of life. If cell is normal, then your body will be normal and disease free. If cell is abnormal, then your body will gain some diseases like cancer and all. So that's why the cell is called as the basic unit of life. Now cells are of two types, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Then multicellular organisms are there which are having more than two cells and all. Then after that cell membrane and cell wall are there to form a cell. And there are different kinds of cell organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, vacuoles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, etc. So let's see one and each organ in detail. So let's discuss about the discovery of cell. So who was the founder of cell? Let's see. So in 1665 Robert Hooke was there. An English scientist saw cell in a thin slice of cork with the crude microscope. That means there was a microscope with the magnifying power. So in the cork of the tree, means whatever the secondary growth plants are having now outer wall, that is called cork. So under that cork he observed the cell. So for the first time Robert Hooke was there to find a cell. So he observed an honeycomb like structure and named them as a cell, as cellulae or cells. Honeycomb means like a network structure he found under that microscope, that he called as a cell. So his discovery indicated for the first sense that a living organism consists of number of small structures or units. These are called as the cells. Means our body is multicellular but not compulsory multicellular. Many organisms are unicellular also. So to know the history of cell, we will find another theory. So in 1665 Robert Hooke was there who discovered the cell. In 1674 after that Leeuwenhoek was there who studied the living organisms of living cells for the first time under the microscope. As he is a founder of microscope also, he found the compound microscope in the world for the first time. And 1831 there is Robert Bennett. He discovered and named the nucleus in the cell. After that 1838 to 1839 M.G. Sheldon was there and Schwann was there. They both formulated the cell theory for the first time. After that in 1855 Rudolf Virchow was there who stated the osmosis cellular and cellular. Means this is the theory that proves that how cell grows and how cell makes the cell division. So on the basis of the history we can get the idea of cell and how the cell theory is developed and how cell divides. So what are the living organisms made up of? So we are the living one, plants are the living one, we animals are the living one. So we all are made up of the cell. So this is the basic structure that unicellular organisms are there, multicellular organisms are there. So they become the mature organism by their particular structure of the cell and particular arrangement of the cell in their body structures. So cell is the basic unit of life that we already studied. Then shape and size of the cell. So see, every organism is different. There is diversity in organism in our world, right? So on the earth every organism is different. So on the basis of that we can also conclude that cell size and shape is also different. So in this diagram you can see different kinds of cell. This is red blood cell, you can see. This is lens shaped cell, right? So this is like concave lens, na? After that, cardiac cell is there, nerve cell is there. Nerve cell is star shaped, that is teloid shape we can see, है ना. So there are so many different kinds of cells are here, which are different in structure. These are smooth muscle cells, spindle muscle cells, these are there. Smooth muscle cells. So this is paramecium, which is unicellular organism. So these are the guard cells of the stomata, which are kidney shaped. So in this way, the cell size and cell structure is different in different organism, that makes every organism diverse in its morph. Morph means structure and form. The scale of the life. So how our life forms, you can see in this diagram. So see, atoms are there, then small molecules forms with the combination of atoms, then lipids are there, which are the multimolecular compound, right? Macromolecular compound we can say, with the high molecule in protein. This is the biggest macromolecule. That is hemoglobin is the well-known example of this protein, no? After the T2 phase, bacteriophage is there. After that, chloroplast, which perform the function of photosynthesis. Then bacteria, so plant and animal cells. Then fish egg. So these are the scales of life, means how the cells divide, how the cells grow and form the new organisms on the earth. So first we will discuss about a unicellular and multicellular organism. So unicellular form, there is a single lady who is working in the house. She don't have any helper, okay, so she will get tired easily. And in multicellular organisms, so with that lady, so many workers are there, so many helpers are there, or any family members are there who are working, who are helping that woman in working. So that woman will not get tired easily. So that is the difference between the unicellular and multicellular organism. So unicellular organisms are made up of single cell. On the other hand, multicellular organisms are made up of many cells. So that makes a difference here. So that's why whole load of the function comes on the single cell. That's why unicellular organisms have low lifespan, less lifespan. Examples: amoeba and paramecium. On the other hand, multicellular organisms have different shapes and many number of cell organelles that distribute the load of work. So that's why it's having the more lifespan. And the examples are plant cell, animal cells and fungal cells. After that, we will discuss about the cell, that is the basic unit of life. So why it is called as the basic unit of life? So it performs all life functions like intake of food, materials, excretion, metabolism, respiration, irritability, etc. Means whatever the food we consume, it get digested with the help of cell. Whatever the gases of exchange is occurring in the body, that is with the help of cell. So all the functions of the life are basically dependent on the cell. That's why cell is called the basic unit of life. That means our life is nothing without this cell. Like a cell. So cell is a tiny mass of the protoplasm, which is surrounded by a membrane and a capsule of that is performing all functions of life. Means cell is made up of the tiny protoplasm and a capsule, which is the protective wall of the cell. So these are the two main components of the cell that from cell made. A typical cell is formed of three parts like plasma membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm. So plasma membrane is semi-permeable membrane which allows the entry of some particle and loss of some particle for the goodwill of the cell. After that, nucleus is there, which is called the brain of the cell, which controls the amount of cell division under the cell. Then cytoplasm, which contains the more enzymes, hydrolytic enzymes and more nutrition for the cell organelles, and it provide a floating background for the cell organelles also. So these are the three basic components which makes a cell. After that, the most important component of the cell is the plasma membrane, which is called as the biomembrane or cell membrane. So biomembrane means it is the membrane in the living cell, no? That's why it is called as the biomembrane, and it is a membrane of cell, that's why it is also called as cell membrane. So outermost delicate elastic membrane covering of the cell that separates the contents from the external environment is called as the plasma membranes. Means whatever the content present outside the cell, these are separated through the plasma membrane that cannot enter into the cell. If these are useful, then it may be entered in the cell through plasma membrane, but if it is not important, then it is separated totally. So plasma membrane is selectively permeable. Selectively permeable means what? It will select some particle which are needed for the cell only, right? And all particles are restricted which are not useful for the cell, and which are harmful for the cell in fact. So it is made up of bilipid layer, that means lipid layer are 2 in number, and proteins are integrated in out and inside. These proteins are there inside this lipid membrane. So small carbohydrates are attached at the place to outer surface of the lipid and proteins. There is carbohydrates are present in the plasma membrane. So these are the source of energy. So functions, what is the function? See, plasma membrane is a very nice term given by Nicholson and Singer in their plasma membrane model, that is called fluid mosaic model. He says proteins are the iceberg in the sea of the lipid. This is very nice poetic sentence he has given, that proteins are the iceberg in the sea of the lipid. Means lipid are more in amount in the plasma membrane and proteins are lesser, and proteins are floating under the surface of lipid. So this is a very nice statement given by the Nicholson and Singer in their model, that is fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. So it is not mentioned here, but I thought it was needful, that's why I said to you. So let's see the functions of plasma membrane. So plasma membrane's function is to shape to content of the cell, and also it is a mechanical barrier, semi-permeable in nature. Endocytosis happens through this plasma membrane. Then it recognizes the harmful or useful element for the cell. Then it knows the information, and cellular communication happens due to plasma membrane. Then osmosis, that is the equality of amount of fluid in between two cells. That then after cell continuity means cell growth. When passive transport, so let's see, I will not discuss the whole slide, but I will give you example. If there is any hill, you are coming downside, so you will not require the energy, your cycle will come lightly. So that is called passive transport. Means whenever there is no exertion of energy, no loss of ATP, no loss of energy, that is called passive transport. And when if you are going up on the hill, then you will require more amount of energy for cycling. So that is what, there is exertion of energy, there is loss of energy, there is utilization of energy. So that is called active transport. So these are the two types of transports under the cell transport system. So see, this is active transport is there under the cell. These are not the part to discuss here under the 9th standard, but still I have given you for just introduction purpose. So there is uniport, that means energy is entering. After that symport is there, energy combination is there, and antiport means energy release is there through the plasma membrane. So that is called active transport, means plasma energy is utilized. After that, this is a diffusion process in which the energy balance is there, equality is there, osmosis is there. So this is what, this is passive transport. Then importance of diffusion. What is the importance of diffusion? It helps in spread of different substances throughout the cytoplasm of help. Means whatever the substances are there in cytoplasm, so it helps in spread, that substance gets spread. Osmosis is a type of diffusion where only solvent is allowed to diffuse. Means here the solvent get diffused, means solvent get shared or sprayed. So diffusion helps in exchange of respiratory gases between the cells and their environment. Means whatever the respiratory gases are there, so they get exchanged through this cell and its environment. So transpiration is the diffusion process, we can say, in the plant. So it is beneficial for that purpose. So flowers spread aroma through diffusion to attract the insects and other animals for the pollination. So this is the best example you can remember, that flowers spread the aroma due to diffusion to attract the insect for the purpose of pollination. So this is the example, which is a good example of the diffusion process. Then osmosis is there for equality of the substance. Osmosis there. So let's see what is osmosis. So osmosis is defined as the diffusion of water or solvent across a semi-permeable membrane from a region of high concentration. Remember, from region of high concentration to the region of its low concentration. So if I am having 40 rupees and you are having 10 rupees, so I will give you my 20 rupees. So how much I will get? I will get 20 rupees na. So means for balancing purpose I will share the equal amount. I will give some amount to you, that will make a equalization. Okay, so I don't know it is equal or not, but you may consider that if you are having that amount lesser than me, then I will share my some amount that will be equalized. So that is called osmosis process. So that means I told you higher concentration to lower transport. So what is nucleus? In short, nucleus is also called as the brain of the cell, as it controls the cell division rate. So dense protoplasmic body that contains the hereditary information controlling cells activities as well as for transport to the next generations. Means nucleus is having the chromosomes in it, chromosomal material in it, that transfer of the generation from parent to their offspring during the cell division, during the birth of a child, in the form of DNA and chromosome. So that's why the nucleus is called as the brain of the cell. So it lies in median or the central position, means it is in the central position of the cell, and in mature plant cell it has towards periphery, means if the cell is immature na, so nucleus will be in the center, and if that cell is mature then it will go towards periphery, means towards the outer surface of the cell. So in prokaryotes nuclear membrane is absent because these cells are immature and not fully grown. That's why nuclear membrane is absent, and it is called as nucleoid, means nucleus is not proper. And cell like RBC use elementary back nucleus, element back nucleus. So cell without nucleus cannot survive for long time na? So in RBC nucleus is not there. That's why RBC requires the good food of nutrition to regenerate in our body. That's why we must take the good amount of nutrition that will create the new cells, new RBC cells in our body, which are good source of hemoglobin. So one nucleus, that is uninucleate, is present in most of the cell, that is like paramecium, amoeba, etc. and some. Then we will discuss about the cell wall. So cell wall is nothing but a very rigid structure which is protective in nature, and it is having thick walled cell organization, and it is made up of cellulose in plants. Fungal cellulose is also called as the chitin, which is present in the fungus. It is protective in nature, as I told you. And extra deposition of lignin, serine, cutin may be present in the secondary thickening, is whichever the plants who grow with the secondary growth na, so they contain the lignin, serine, cutin under this cell wall. So commenting layer is called as the middle lamella, is present between the walls of two adjacent cells. So it brings about the hygroscopic nature of the cells. So cell wall possesses small pores to which adjacent cells remain connected, called as the plasmodesmata. It is the very important term, plasmodesmata. Always remember, cell wall possesses small pores through which adjacent cells remain connected. It is called plasmodesmata. Like in our home, your brother and you are connected due to your mother's maturity na? So your mother's maturity become plasmodesmata and you become two adjacent cells. So that is called the function of plasmodesmata, through which two cells are connected. So what is the role of cell wall? So I already told you, this is protective nature. This provides the shape to the cell. It provides the mechanical strength to the plant, protects against the pathogens and mechanical injury. Growth of the cell wall determines the growth of the cell, and cell wall prevents the bursting of the cell on endosmosis, means whatever the amount of moisture is entered in the cell na, so it having the chances of bursting, so that bursting is prevented through the cell wall as it is strong one. So ability to withstand a lot of variation in the nature, so whatever the winter season, summer season, whatever the storms are there, so due to the cell wall, the cells and the plants remains withstand in any adverse environmental condition. So let's see about the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm contents of a cell except for the nucleus. It includes the cytosol, organelles, vesicles and cytoskeleton. Means cytoplasm is the fluid of the cell. Cyto means cell and plasma means fluid. So cytoplasm includes the cytosol, organelles, vesicles and cytoskeleton in it. And cytoplasm has two parts, that is cytosol and cell organelles. Cytosol is the solution of the cell. So is the fluid part of the cytoplasm, homogeneous and crystalline in nature, liquid that contains substances like water, ions, enzymes, vitamins, amino acids and more biomolecules in short. And cell organelles like semi-microscope structure, which are the specialized to perform specific cellular functions. So these are the cell organelles, like we can say helper in our house. So cell organelles are their mitochondria, cytoplasm, etc. So virus like cytoplasm as well as membrane. So virus is without cytoplasm and without membrane. So let's see about endoplasmic reticulum. So these are called ER in short form. So endoplasmic reticulum are nearby the nuclear membrane. So it arises from nuclear membrane. There are rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So if the endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosome on its surface, it is called rough endoplasmic reticulum, and if not, then it is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So these are the diagram of rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, you can see here, and both are having the different functions. So function of endoplasmic reticulum, let's see. There is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So ribosomes are absent here. In rough endoplasmic, ribosomes are present, synthesizes protein and formed by the cisternae of the Golgi apparatus, and here synthesizes lipids and steroids. It is the function of smooth and it also brings about the detoxifications, and mainly formed of vesicles and tubules of Golgi complex. So it brings about the transport, support, also forms protein. That's why it is called as protein synthetical. Means it transport the proteins through the ribosomal vesicles. That's why this is called vehicle to transport the protein under the Golgi complex for the modification. Then this is Golgi apparatus, where the endoplasmic reticulum delivers the ribosomes for the modification of the protein. So it contains the cisternae and intrinsic gate, extrinsic gate, through which the ribosomes enter, get modified, as cisternae contains the enzyme in it, and after that it goes outside the cell. So what are the functions of Golgi apparatus? Let's see. So lysosomes are formed by the Golgi apparatus, which are the suicidal bags, and all types of substances which are to be secreted or excreted are packed in the vesicle by Golgi apparatus for the passage to outside. So it takes part in the storage, modification and packaging of the various biochemical product by different components of the cell. So complex and special sugars are made up by the Golgi complex. So it is the synthetic organelle, we can say. Lysosomes are there, which are called as the suicidal bags, and it contains some hydrolytic enzymes which brings about the degradation of complex substances into the small particles, that brings about the decomposition of the element. So lysosomes are called as suicidal bags. So why these are called as suicidal bags? Means whatever the elements are there, whatever the dead cells are there now, so lysosome just collected dead cells come into the lysosomal sac, and lysosome secretes some hydrolytic enzyme, and all the cells get die inside the sac and get excreted through the kidney. So that's why it is called suicidal bite. The mitochondria, which is called the powerhouse of energy, which is also a double membrane body, which synthesizes the ATP molecules for the cell. That's why it is called as the powerhouse of cell. So this is mitochondria. Here you can see. So this is the matrix, means fluid of the mitochondria. Then cistern, then cystine cristae. These are the finger-like projection in this mitochondria. Inner membrane is there, outer membrane is that shows that mitochondria is not a single membrane organelle, it is double membrane organelle. Also it contains the plasmid as a rounded DNA, circular DNA for self-replication, and some ribosomal particles and food molecules. Then plastids are there. So plastids are the colored compounds present in the cells, mean to whatever the flower color you see na, that is red, white, vagera. So these are due to the plastid. There is leucoplast for the white color, and chromoplast for different colors, xanthoplast for yellow color. So likewise, and chloroplast is there for the purpose of photosynthesis, which contains the green coloration which is present in the leaf, which is good for the function of photosynthesis. Then ribosomes are there, which are known as the protein factories. So ribosomes are the vesicles, which is single membrane, which forms the protein. We synthesize the protein in the translation process. So this is all for the cell organelles and cell. I hope it is simple to understand, and I hope you will like this video. Thanks for watching.